Okay, we will move straight into the council meeting. Clerk Patrick, are you ready? Okay. I declare a quorum. We'll call the City of Groton Mayor and Council meeting for Monday, December 4th, 2017 to order. Clerk Patrick, will you please call the roll?
Present are Mayor Keith Hedrick, Deputy Mayor Lawrence Garrish, Councilors Jill Rusk, Jamal Beckford, Stephen Sheffield, Rashad Carter, Finance Director Ron Newhouse, Clerk Deborah Patrick.
Salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to get a motion to amend, correction, get a motion to suspend the rules to amend the agenda to move Resolution R-17-12-160 to immediately after the salute to the flag.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Councilor Rusk.
Resolution R-17-12-160. Therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council approve the appointment of Guinevere Depot, 162 Shinnecossett Parkway, Groton, Connecticut, as a city councilor. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Clerk Patrick, I'll turn it over to you.
Depot, you do solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of city councilor according to the city charter, city ordinances, state statutes, and federal laws, and that you will serve in that office to the very best of your ability, so help you God.
I will.
Congratulations. Welcome. And your seat will be right next to Rashad.
Should we take a quick recess? You know what? Nope. We're gonna take a 5-minute recess for congratulations and for pictures.
Okay.
We don't have cake, but if you're a police officer, you have cake. So we're gonna take a 5-minute recess for congratulations and for pictures. Okay?
Should probably take a picture while we're up here now, right?
Yeah?
Right up.
I'll keep track of 5 minutes for you. Well,
Well, we're up here. Let's go up here now.
I wanna do this. How do we wanna do this? Do we wanna move these chairs?
I am recording.
Yeah, we did that. You can take these chairs.
I'll get in the back of the house.
And everyone thinks like you're rude. Right.
Tell us to come right over and take a picture.
Is this, are these things in the way?
Probably.
Do we want to move? Well, right now we have,
Oh, okay. There is someone there. Okay.
Oh, I like that. It's all black and red.
We planned that.
any other pictures? Is there any other pictures that you want to stage?
Okay.
Here, you can use this for the calendar too.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we'll still for a minute. I thought you said 5. So
I did, I said 5.
It shouldn't take long.
She might want to say something. She has the floor, right?
Right. Do you want to dress your fans?
Do I
What do you want
have
to
to?
do? Make a speech?
I feel like you've made me speak unannounced so many times already.
You should be used to it.
I should.
Don't hold your peace.
I don't know
Do we have to let that 5 minutes?
Well, I said 5 minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I can change that though, right?
what. I think.
All right.
Just say we are back in
Does anybody, I'm sorry, what?
You can just say that we're back in
Okay, we are back in session. We will continue with recognitions, awards, and memorials. Anyone have anything for that? I want to take this time real quick. I want to publicly thank all who helped make our toy, our food, and code drive a success this past Saturday on the 2nd, at the City of Groton Municipal Building. It was an honor to partner with the United States Marine Corps Toys for Tots program. And I want to thank Sergeant Dallas of the Plainfield United States Marine Corps recruiting office for coming down here for the service of his country and for the assistance to us in the collection of toys for this incredible program. We collected nearly 1,000 individual toys and filled 2+ cruisers at the event. I also want to send thanks out to the El Grasso Interact Club for filling a cruiser with toys. We also partnered with Pastor Coleman and St. John's Church of Groton on the coat drive. We collected nearly 100 used coats, scarves, gloves, and mittens. In addition, we partnered with the United Way Jim and Moran Food Pantry, and we're pleased to announce we filled a pickup truck of food items to share with the pantry. But more importantly, I want to say none of this would have occurred without the vision and the oversight of Police Chief Mike Spellman and the help of his police officers who participated, and to the police cadets who were there to support this event. So thank you very much. This was our inaugural event, and it was absolutely tremendous. So thank you to everyone that participated, whether it was overseeing, being involved, or actually donating a gift. So thank you. Receipt of citizens petitions. Do we have any? Okay, hold on. You'll have to come up. Please come up, state your name and your address. You have 3 minutes to address the council.
Okay, my name is Jane Kluke, and I live on Thames Street, and I'm just asking for an update on the landscaping project, which is on Thames Street at the next to the sewage treatment plant. And I'm also curious about the council's intentions on using the grant that was just received for the waterfront improvement. I think it was a significant amount of money,
74,000.
Yes.
Or 54,400. SHIP grant. And you said the Lower Casa?
Yeah, the cost of property.
Okay. Next.
My name's Bob Walker, 108 Warner Street. I'm coming here because we've been having major problems with parking. Okay, and for example, we have this one lady, she lives in Avery Heights. And I took a tour over there, and they all have reserved parking spots. Okay, we called the police department a couple of times, blocking driveways. Okay, well, the police department, you know, they did everything they could. They went over, brought her back to her car, and had her to move her car up 5 feet up. Okay, and we have problems with sailors also parking on that street. Anytime you take a left-hand turn off of Benham onto Warner Street, the cars seem to be close to Benham Road. There's nothing in the regs that says anything about how far to park away from driveways and everything. You know, and another example, there's been a car on that street, and I know the guy lives there, but that car hasn't moved in a year now. And then the other issue that I want to talk about is the road. If you drive down on Warren Street, the road was redone probably 4 or 5 years ago. And you can see a crack all the way down Warner Street from when they paved one side to the other. And then when major cracks are on the road. And I want to know what it takes to really just patch them up, you know, because when winter comes here, those are going to get bigger. Okay, just in front of my driveway, every winter, the water doesn't go down into the sewage. It sits in front of my driveway.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to see if we can solve this problem with parking. I know we have it in other parts of the city where it's only residents of that street. Okay, so we need help. I'm afraid she's going to park on the street during a winter storm, and people's driveways are going to get plowed.
Okay,
So, thanks for help.
all right, thank you. Anyone else?
Marion Galbraith, 771 Shenecosset Road. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Councilor Depot and to thank you for your service to the city. But I also wanted to come for the Thames River Heritage Park and thank you for your contribution to the Thames River Heritage Park Foundation, and to let you know about two developments. You've probably read in the paper that the money for the Nautilus dock was approved, which is going to be a significant improvement for the Thames River Heritage Park. But you should also know, and I let Councilor Hedrick know on Saturday, that we, the city and the Thames River Heritage Park, have been awarded the Connecticut chapter of the American Planning Association's 2017 Implementation Award for having taken the study and the report that the Yale Urban Design Workshop did and turning it into a significant accomplishment. So that will be in January, and congratulations. You've led the way. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens petitions? Anyone else that would like to speak? Okay, response to citizens petitions? Anyone?
Can I ask a question to Mr. Walker? Can I do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, it's,
I think he left.
Oh, he left.
well,
Never
you can
mind.
leave,
Okay.
you can leave it
I
with
guess
me.
my
and
question
I'll-
is there any sort of parking restrictions on that road? I'm not aware.
I will get back to the council
Okay.
on that. I'm not aware of any, but I will get back to the council.
And
And I'm gonna address this in general, the initiatives that we are moving up as a result of some parking. Anyone else?
Yeah, and the cost of property is part of, well, Parks and Rec.
Right,
Yeah,
and I'm going to address that. We did receive the SHIP grant. The SHIP grant we put in for the design and development of a dock for dockage down there, so that's what that's gonna be used for engineering. $54,000 is not gonna get you much of a dock. It's gonna get us engineering. And then we'll go out after that to find money and maybe grants or however we're gonna do this. We're gonna tie that in, the waterfront usage, into the Lower Costa. If you go down to the Lower Costa now, you'll see that it has been seeded and that the grass is taking on. And also on the little knoll adjacent to the WPCA, have been mulched. And we also have slow growing low junipers that are there. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see that, but we are also evaluating events that we will tie into the water taxi next year to get people to come to the Lower Costa. Part of it is we're looking at having a food truck event, and also I'm evaluating, but I have to look at budgets, obviously, about having some maybe some recreation there. A band or something like that. But we're still in the very beginning stages. We really haven't gotten a lot further than a napkin as far as that goes, because that's going to take funding. But I am looking at what we can do so that we can draw people down and get people to come from New London and other places over to our side of the street. And we're going to continue to do that. So that's that.
can I ask a quick question on that? When do you expect the Costa property to be open for people to go down there? It's currently still tied off.
It won't be
Probably not.
It won't be this winter because of the sod.
Right.
I think we spoke to
Well,
the
not-
parts.
Right, in the spring.
Yeah.
Spring. Okay.
It'd be
Yeah,
kinda
because when we
productive
first,
if you
because we
opened it.
hydroseeded,
Mm-hmm.
and then it was sloppy,
Mm.
because we were concerned about that and everything getting sloshed up. We had we have evidence that we had some animal that was digging up grubs or something.
Yeah.
So we treated it for that. We're gonna patch that. Also, if you notice, there's a roadway there. We're getting a quote so that I've talked to my public safety guys about how much access do they need, how far. So we're looking at getting a quote so we can dig that asphalt up because the water sheets off and then runs, and that's problematic for the ground. But then put gravel there so that it absorbs the water and it'll still meet the requirements for access for public safety. So we're looking at that, at those things. Parking. Parking is an issue in the city of Groton. It is something that I am looking at. It was part of a 5-year plan that I wanted to do in preparation for the expansion of electric boat. Because as you know, electric boat is geared up to add an additional 10,000 employees between now and the next 10 years. I have looked at Lot L and Lot M. Lot L is on Rainville, Lot M is down at Pequannock. And I went and drove through there this last week, and L is almost 100% used now. M was at about 75% capacity. So if we're full in L and it's 75% in M, an additional 10,000 people is going to be problematic. We are already starting to see some migration from the ship's crews that are being built down at Electric Boat. If you remember, we helped Electric Boat build building 83 in 90 days, which housed a new crew for a new boat, and that adds to the parking situation. In the city, we have resident parking, we have residential parking, we have time parking, we have no parking, we have open parking. We have lots of different zones. And one of the things that we are going to start doing, it's already been referred to Public Safety Committee, but one of the things that I'm looking at, and will start soon with the police and with Public Works, is what do we need to do to our parking situation to help alleviate some of the parking issues that we currently have now. Because it has been brought to my attention, there are some homeowners that are parking and then they're getting a ticket because they're exceeding a 2-hour zone or some other limit that is there. The design is if you have parking, if you have a driveway and you can fit your cars, if you don't have enough driveway for the vehicles, then you can come to me and we can see if we have a workaround until such time that we can get our arms around the parking situation. It is something that has ballooned quicker than I expected, but we are looking at it and we will continue to look at it. I do not have a 100% solution at this point, but I will come to you in the near future and to the Public Safety Committee about the recommendations that I have that I will get from the police department and from Public Works. Because it is a challenge. I do recognize it. We are actively looking at it. So I need some patience, a little bit. And there are also 2 or 3 people that are out there that I owe you phone calls. I have looked at things, but I still owe you a phone call as far as the final resolution. You will get your phone calls soon, I promise. The one issue that Mr. Walker brought up that I'm not sure, he was talking about Avery Heights. I do not know if they have, I need to talk to them about what their parking situation is. And I don't know if we have jurisdiction over their parking situation. So if that's private parking, because that is an apartment complex, then I'm not sure what our jurisdiction as the city is to come in and to patrol and or police that parking. I don't know. I need to find out what the answer to that is, because that is private. Now, public, that's a different matter.
I wasn't sure if his point was that maybe there were guests or residents there that were parking on Warner Street.
Well, and I don't know if it's that or if he was, and I'll call Bob and talk to Mr. Walker about, is it a situation where people other than residents of Avery Heights are parking in Avery Heights parking spaces? I will get further clarification and get back to the council on that. And I think that is it. And then I'll also talk to Public Works regarding the cracks on Warner Street to see if we have any intent of doing hot or cold patches on the cracks before we get into the winter. Because if we leave the cracks in there, with the water freezing and thawing and the repetition of that, that'll further damage the roadway, which is not good for us. So are there any other questions or comments associated with that? All right. On to approval of the minutes. I need a motion to approve the November 20th, 2017 Mayor and Council meeting minutes.
So.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. I need a motion to approve the minutes of November 27, 2017 Committee of the Whole.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? A motion carries unanimously. Communications and reports. Councilor Russell.
No report.
No report.
Councilor Sheffield.
Attended the CCM convention on the 29th. It was outstanding turnout. Chief Garish was in attendance. Juliet Parker, future town councilor, attended, and John Burt as well, the town manager for the town of Groton, was also in attendance. So great turnout, and Larry, miss you around there, walking the displays and gathering all the pens. So I had to follow your lead. And, it was a good time, though.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's all.
Okay. Councilor Depot.
Nothing.
Okay. Councilor Carter.
I attended the was it Phil Cruiser? Is that called the Stuff Cruiser?
Stuff Cruiser.
Well, he filled in Stuff the Cruiser, so it was good. It was a good event. It was a really good event. And the conjoinment with St. John's, there's a lot of jackets there as well. I was pretty surprised. It was good. And I also marched in the cold parade.
It was a great parade, though.
Yeah, I thought the weather was gonna hold out. I said, years of freezing, it was gonna be good, but then the temperature dropped, but it ended up being good.
Yeah,
It was a
but
good
all the kids and all,
no, it was a good event, really good
yeah, it's
event.
good.
Nice and, I was gonna say short, but that's not a good thing. But it was a nice event.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Garrison.
I also spent a little time with Chief Spellman and his crew at the Stuffer Cruiser. It was a great event that they put on, and I was impressed. So I hung around for a while and visited. I also attended a very emotional memorial service Sunday at the Groton Lodge of Elks, where Reverend Coleman was the guest speaker, and that again was a memorable event, and that's it.
Okay. Clerk Patrick.
I participated in the parade on Saturday and also came by for the Stuffer Cruiser earlier in the day. And it wasn't that cold. We walked in cold.
You were at the front of the parade, so it was quick.
So it's colder in the back than it was. Is that what you're saying?
About 5 minutes.
By the time we started, my feet were cold.
Okay.
It's all good though.
Finance Director. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me get my phone. Finance Director, UAS.
Nothing to report.
Okay. I am going to yield my time so that I can recognize Parks and Rec Director Mary Hill so that she can talk about a conference. Remember we talked about that when the department heads went to conferences, that I would have them come and give you a debriefing so that you know what your tax dollars are being, where they're being spent. So if you could join us and we'll get you a microphone.
Teamwork. Downward. So, oh, good evening all. Yes, I had the opportunity at the end of September, the 25th of September to the 29th of September, to go to the National Recreation and Parks Association Congress in New Orleans, Louisiana. I haven't been to a national congress in about 9 years. I've gone to the state conference since every year I've been here. I go to these things because I do have a certification, so I just want to share with you guys. I'm a certified Parks and Recreation professional. I've held that certification since 2001. And in order to maintain it, you have to get CEUs. You got to get 2.0 CEUs every 2 years. So it's like pretty much one a year. Most educational sessions, as anybody's gone to, they're usually like 0.1, 0.2, so it takes you a while to get there. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to have gone. Our keynote speaker for the first day there was, I don't know if any of you watched the American Ninja Warrior show, but the host, Matt Eisman, was our keynote speaker. And NRPA is going towards Everyone Deserves a Park, was their theme moving forward from the conference on. And it was so inspiring. You know, you kind of get lost, 26 years of the field, to kind of get lost in what I do every day or get complacent. So it was kind of encouraging to kind of listen to him talk about what I do every day, but from a perspective that, from a host of a TV show, it was very inspiring. Talked about how, how in our parks we can make it all about the story, making it fun. Anyone can do it. And create your own opportunities, and falling isn't failing. There's always a winner somewhere along the way. It all depends on how you look at it. So those are things that I came back here inspired about. I looked at how we do things. One of the sessions I went to was kind of funny. Stop thinking like a municipal employee. I've been a municipal employee for 26 years in different municipalities, but it's kind of like, starts you thinking. We are so, trained to watch our dollars and cents, because they're not our dollars. We're working with taxpayers' dollars. But I came away with some nice ideas on how to kind of promote some of the things we do. One of the examples was we do our Concerts and Park series, and we have a banner, and we have it in the paper, and we have, we do some promotions. But a little detail of like putting the schedule on the back of my business card and handing that out to everybody. Mm-hmm. Well, that doesn't cost me a whole lot of money. I have business cards. I get them printed up every year, so just add the concert schedule to the back. So those are things I came back with, enthusiastic, engaged, and looking forward to, especially the spring and summer seasons, because those are our busier times. Promoting our parks a little bit better. I'm not sure if any of you realize we have an 8-piece exercise equipment facility up in the park, up by the tennis courts. We have to promote that a little better. One of those things that we learned about in regards to what we do. It was nice, because like I said, sometimes you get complacent with what you do all the time, and because it's second nature. I don't think about things, and sometimes you go back to see other communities and other regions and how they do it, and it really opened our eyes to what we might need, move forward in promoting how we do things and engaging our community more in our facilities. So.
That's great. Any questions or comments for Mary? Okay, thank you.
I just had a quick comment, just to thank you for all you do with the Parks and Recs, and I personally know you have a lot of energy, and you put a lot of energy into it, so thank you for that.
I'll just give a side note on Gary. Larry was at the memorial service at the Elks, of which I brought Reverend Coleman in, and I didn't get away from him calling me the gym lady in front of all my Elks members. He goes, I know her as the gym lady.
We're gonna continue that.
So, because that's what he calls me here. So. But yes, so I look forward to taking what I've learned and implementing it and moving forward. So.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
I've also asked Ray Valentini to come in to brief you on the Walker Hill standpipe, on the replacement that we're going to do there. And the reason being is, again, we're not going to have a committee of the whole in December. It looks like I'm not going to have a quorum. So I've asked Ray to come in and brief you because I intend to bring this in front of you on 2 January of next year. So Ray, if you could come forward and give us some information on the Walker Hill sale.
Fall down and have to do the presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. As you see, as I passed out, Walker Hill Tank dam pipe itself is on Walker Hill Road. It's built in 1942. The pictures, we have a few, we have a lot more pictures, but I didn't want to send out a lot of them. As you see, it's 75 years old, so it's had its life. It has holes in it. The roof is cracking. So we worked on replacing this. We started in 2012, and we received a bond fund in 2015. So as we worked around it, we have a plan that is on front. So we have a lot where the water tank is there now. The existing water tank is 1.5 million gallons. This new tank will be 2.2 million gallons. The reasons for the size difference is because it's also in phase 2 going to have a pump station, which is going to take the place of an older station we have, but also it will help with the Navy, EB, and it feeds our lower pressure section. And this also, the pump station will pump and bring it to the region, which will go across the river if it has to. It's our backup for our Gunjuan pump station. So this is why we own this land here. We can fit everything in. The old tank itself will be demolished, cleaned up, so in another 75 years somebody can put another tank there if they want. So that's part of the thing. And our infrastructure is right there. The water mains that we connect to are right in the road. So that's why whoever did the first one, when they thought about it, the council and the utility commission, that's why the tank is there. You try to get a tank that's close to your facilities, and this will make it easier for us to make this tie-in. So it will also help improvement of the pumping. We went to the town, we have in the city building and planning and zoning, so we have everything ready to go. And matter of fact, if you look, I gave you the 2 tank manufacturers. Now there's only 2 in this area, and this is from the Northeast. Preload and DN tanks, and we have received the bids. We've looked at them. We're recommending that Preload is the low bidder, and we show how much the tank will be, the engineering, and then we put a contingency down. So we have a $3.5 million bond fund. The rest of the bond fund will be used for piping out in the road for another phase. So I'll be coming to see you in another year or so, probably for that. The pump station will be springtime. So that's why we are trying to put this in. It's been a long time coming. The tank itself is going to be 49 feet high. The other one is about 43, something like that. It's not as high because of the ground slopes down, and that's why it's a little higher. Other than that, the 2 elevations are the same.
This will also go to the Groton Utility Commission on the 20th. So I am anticipating that the Utility Commission will approve it, and then we will bring it to you on the 2nd for your approval. Councilor Rusk. Did you have a?
Yes. I obviously have a really bad resting face. We've been asked at different times to put this in different spots. You mentioned tying it to the water line. Can you just walk me through, if we put it someplace else further away from the road, what does that look like?
What it will look like, the spots that we did look at, it's about 1,000-foot run of extra piping both ways, and to the station and back out.
Okay.
So obviously in that part, plus the pumps itself, because we're right next to the water main, might have to change. I haven't looked at any of that. We've been working on this part, so it would add the extra cost for moving it down the road. Plus, everything would have to start over. Have to go back to planning, and it takes them almost a year to get this part. So.
Can you share with them the new information you gave me regarding the location just behind the school?
So behind the school is one of those areas. We found a map that showed that the old septic system for the school, before there was sewers, was in that area. So the leaching field would be where the tanks are. So we would have to dig all that out. Plus it's contaminated for what it had in it. So that stone, piping, whatever they used back then would have to be removed.
And is that town-owned property, or is that city-owned property?
That is town-owned property.
Okay.
We approached the town earlier this year, and actually last year, and then I approached them again this year, and the town does not have property to put this on.
Okay.
So that's one of the challenges there. I also received an email from Town Manager John Burke today that indicated that he, as the town manager, is 100% behind this project and does not intend to get in the way of this project. He understands the business case of this. He understands that why we need to do this. This is going to be the primary for Walker Hill. It is the backup down to Gunjiwamp, and with the pumping station, we will be the backup all the way out to Holdridge's. And then if you take into account the emergency cross connects that we have agreements we've entered into for installation, and the regionalization of water, this could go further than that if needed. And just a reminder to the council, it was earlier this year, like in the last month to 2 months, that Norwich had a 30-inch water main break, and Ray and his group were able to open an emergency cross connect and provide water so that Norwich did not sustain any loss of water.
Thank you.
Councilor Beckford?
Yeah, I remember we got a citizen's petition on this, right? And talking about
in the very beginning, and
right. So it does sound. I just want to make sure it's clear. It sounds like there is no other place that we can put this.
Nope.
Okay.
This tank also works with Brannigy Avenue tank, so they both are at the same elevation. So say when we have to work on Brannigy, we drop this. So if we change this, either in the location of this location, to reach the 207 mark is the elevation above sea level, that both are overflow, we would have to either make the tank, because if you drop it down, the tank has to go higher. So you have more cost. This is a hill, the highest part that we look at, plus it's in our low service, and we have a high service line going out right there. So we tie both those in. If we move it, more piping, higher tank, and some more issues that we have to look at.
Well, not only that, we are 2 votes away, 1 vote from the Utility Commission, 1 vote from the council, and the ground to thaw, and we are shovel ready.
Okay.
I mean, we have been working on this project for almost 4 or 5 years, and period. We put a period on the end.
I just feel like it was important to address the concerns that were brought up in the request, and and to say this would be much more expensive and we would lose a ton of money if we chose to not go through with this.
Right.
So thank you for the explanation. I appreciate that.
Deputy Mayor.
I just had a curiosity question. I know that the Williamsville School is right. I don't know, I've heard that school is not going to exist for a long time. Is this, how close is the tank to that?
It's right, the driveway for that, going down to the school here, Larry, it's,
So will the school
right,
come
the
down?
school's right down here.
Will the school have to come down for this?
Oh, no,
project?
this is our
No.
property. This is the fence, this is the property line for the
Oh,
school
okay.
right here. We're far enough away.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, we're putting it right on the piece of a parcel that the city owns.
So that's kind of like in that recreation area, there's some swing
You
sets.
see that, yeah, we abut that part,
Yeah,
the swing
I'm
set.
just trying to picture where it was,
Right.
going up there. Good.
Well, the whole part and parcel of the William Seeley property is about a 35-acre part and parcel when you include what is privately owned and what is publicly owned. Where we put our tank really does not impact the saleability of that property or the developability of that property. That's the bottom line. And we are being asked to stop and to wait for a developer to come in and then work with that developer, and maybe the developer will agree with what we want to do. In addition to that, there's a new request to leave the old one up, to leave the old water tank up, to turn that into a museum or something. And then the problem I have with that is 75 years from now, we will not have a place to put the new water tank. Okay? We are here to support the city and the utility and the ratepayers and the users of the water. So that's why I wanted to present it to you so that you understand where we are. Like I said, we are 2 votes away. The Utility Commission vote, which is happening on the 20th, and then the vote for the council on the 2nd. I will not bring it to you on the 2nd if the council, correction, if the Utility Commission does not approve it on the 20th. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Ray, is there anything else you want to add? Anything else on this? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ray.
Okay. Let's see, we need, the next line item is committee referrals. Does anyone have a referral, a committee referral? Excuse me. Okay, with that, Councilor Beckford, if you can continue with Resolution 161.
Right. Resolution -17-12-161. Therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council authorize the extension of gap pay to Donald Niles for a period of an additional 129 days, not to exceed $9,143.52. Did I say that right? Oh, I so move.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for discussion purposes. Well, I have answers, but I have better than that. I would like to bring up Sue Blanchett and Donnie Niles to come up and talk about this for the council. We started a discussion in last week during the committee of the whole. There were 3 questions that the council had, so I will ask the questions and then give you guys the opportunity to answer the question. The first question was, does the Army anticipate further extensions on this, of what they've done, further extensions? So who would like to answer that?
Address that. As of right now, I'm going through a medical retirement board. That is a process that's from 6 months to a year. I'm in my 2nd month of that board. That's 24 years of paperwork gathering, so it takes some time. We're trying to get it done prior to my ETS date, my time to get out of the military, which is July 17th of next year. We're trying to get that pushed before that, at the end of that. And we're between 6 and 12 months. So at most, you might get 1 more.
And this, right, so this gap pay gets us, I think, to March. And then they would based on that expectation of the retirement date, then excuse me, that would probably take us out 1 more extension.
That's it, sir.
Okay. Second question was a question regarding fitness for duty. And the question was not about fitness for duty in the military, but about not to get into HIPAA things and things like that, but is he fit for duty for the city IT position based on the position description that we have, and the word that I had, that I got this morning from HR was yes. But you can.
I'll be 100% fit for my job here. It's
Okay.
going to take a lot to do this.
Right. Okay. And then the third question was regarding insurance coverage. Was it single coverage or was it family coverage? The information I have today is that it's employee plus one, but it's not been paid since September because the money comes out of the gap pay. So when he is receiving the gap pay, then the payment comes out to pay for the insurance coverage here. So those were the three questions that were given to me, and those are the answers. Now, since we have Donnie here, if there are any other questions or comments, if there's any additional information that the council needs, Councilor Carter.
I didn't expect it to be a, so first of all, thanks for your service,
No,
you know?
appreciate that, sir.
And I think it means a lot that you can even
I try to be here, but sometimes I'm up at Fort Drum, going through medical evaluations.
Yep. And just a comment. Don't take it personal that we're asking some of those questions, you know.
I know.
But it does, you know, glad you're okay, or glad you'll be eventually coming back with us.
That's
We're all glad.
I can't wait.
Deputy Mayor Garrison.
And just to expound on that statement, it just makes it a lot easier for us to make our decision for you coming here with this information.
Yes, sir.
I mean, you'd like to know what you're voting on.
Any other questions or comments? Councilor Russ.
I also want to thank you for being here. Like Deputy Mayor said, it helps us a lot to understand what we're voting for. Thank you for your service, and I absolutely will support your gap pay, especially knowing that we're getting you back, and that's the part.
You have no idea.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, the motion carries unanimously. Donnie, thank you.
Thank you.
Sue?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Deputy Mayor Garrison, 162.
Resolution R 17-12-162. Resolution that the mayor and council approve the appointment of Barbara Dutton, 86 Tyler Avenue, Groton, Connecticut, as a regular member, Board of Ethics, term to expire on February 1st, 2019. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? We talked about this during the committee of the whole. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Sheffield.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution R-17-12-163. Therefore be it resolved that the City Council waives Part 3B, Section 3 of the disposition procedures to authorize Mayor Keith Hedrick to negotiate an agreement for the sale of 80 Nathan Hale Road and Lot 565E Paul Revere Road, Groton, Connecticut. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, go
ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to address your issues, so if you want to ask the issues.
You can address an issue if you think you know what I'm going to ask the question of.
During the committee of the whole, there was a statement that was made that the playscape was unsafe. It was brought to my attention, and as a result, we went and we cut. There were 2 swing sets that were down there. We cut the swing sets down, we removed them, and we got into a debate about digging up the cement and poles or just to tamp them down and then cover them with layers of dirt. I went down, and that's what we chose, was to put the dirt on. I went and inspected today and actually went down and put my foot on each of the areas, so there are no impale hazards there. Now, It is an empty lot. There is a recess where the playscape was. I do not intend to fill that. When I'm looking at liability for the city, in my opinion, we are no more liable than we are for the rocks that are there that people could trip on. So I was very concerned about sharp edges and about impaling and those kind of things. In my opinion, that does not exist. So I think I think we've addressed the safety issue. We certainly did our due diligence on that. So I don't know if that was your question or not, but
That wasn't, but you were batting 1,000 up until now on all my questions. But thank you for addressing that very quickly. That was something that came out of the last meeting. My question is, there is no minimum amount on here.
no, you're right.
And I'm a little concerned with authorizing blanketed, you
Well-
can sell it at any cost.
Well,
Yeah, we
I
had
can
a
say you could trust me.
Well,
But- No, I'm
you
going
know,
to.
there's a difference between.
I'm going to address it directly. They approached us and they said that they thought it was valued at $7,000. The taxes are 66. Is that correct? I remember that correctly?
Yeah, I have
Our
160 in the letter, or the total valuation was 88, the assessed, that was 62.
Okay. Our appraisal was 45,
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
Right.
So now the intent is to enter into a negotiation and certainly get more than 7,000, but probably less than 60,000, maybe less than 45,000. But I mean, if you want to give me parameters to shoot for, I mean, we could make an amendment.
Is there typically a minimum that we state though?
I just feel like we've got city property, what was the assessed value? I'm sorry, I know I'm skipping
Okay.
around
No.
here.
No.
What
No,
was the
this
assessed
is-
value
This
of
is a
it?
good, I want the council to deliberate on this. This is important.
No, they threw out a low number, right?
7,000.
Right.
7,000.
Right. It was assessed at 60. What? 60,
Mary,
I'm just going off the letter.
Yep.
Here, it was assessed at 62,160 with a market valuation of 88,800.
Oh, okay.
With a market value of what, I'm sorry?
88,800, so I'm assuming that's the
Right.
full amount.
And we-
62 is a 7.
and then we had an independent appraisal conducted, and they found it to be their estimate was $45,000.
Probably because it's encased in.
Right, because it is,
Surrounded.
right. And when we discussed this at the committee of the whole, we talked about the procedures, the procedure says if it's anything over $10,000, I'm supposed to go out to bid. That's what it says. Right now, there are deed restrictions that they have to meet, which are the purpose of the land, they gotta have for, not playscape, but for recreation, that kind of thing. They have to meet that. If it goes out to open bid, then somebody could come in and underbid them. I mean, you don't know what the bids are gonna be. They could come in, underbid them, and then maybe put up a mom and pop shop there in the middle of Groton Estates. I mean, this is literally in the middle of Groton Estates. And you don't know what they would do. Now, supposedly, they would have, whoever bid on it would have to meet those same deed restrictions, so I don't know if anybody would want to do that.
I don't think that is correct.
Okay, so you think
I
that
don't
the
think
deed
they
restrictions would
are
only
just
apply to
for-
them
Correct.
and would not apply to somebody else? So now if we go to open bid, then you might have, I don't know, Cumbie's, or, not that Cumbie's is bad, I like Cumbie's, but you could have something, that could go into the middle of Groton Estates, that could be detrimental to Groton Estates and not necessarily be good for us. We could say it could be good for us because it's gonna be a revenue producer because of the taxes. But what they want to do on this, they're gonna build a building on this, and they're gonna have some open space as well. But part of the building is gonna have recreational activities assigned to it. I think they're having a gym or something like that.
And
Councilor
that
Rose.
building would be taxable.
That building will be taxable.
Okay.
But,
That is correct. Counselor
but
Carter.
and obviously you're correct if I'm wrong, but this is for you to negotiate. It's not, we're not agreeing to the sale, so we really doesn't matter if there's any perimeters, because we would have to approve a sale anyway, correct? This is just to agree for the mayor to negotiate it. It's not the sale of the property, correct?
I mean, I think it's the same thing.
That's not the same thing. It's a
the
negotiation.
negotiation for
It's for
the
him to
sale, not
openly
just the
negotiate.
sale.
It's not the sale. You would have to negotiate. Once you negotiate, then you have to bring that for
You gotta
approval.
bring it back to you.
So it doesn't
Oh,
even.
okay.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood then and opened a whole discussion that was
Well, this could be-
irrelevant.
Well, maybe not. I mean, this could be a challenge, because I'm gonna get people to help me, obviously, and negotiate this. Because they're gonna want the best deal, we're gonna want the best deal.
And if I'm not mistaken, they approached us to buy the property, so.
They did.
If they didn't pay us what we thought was a fair amount, then
I was just
we don't
thinking.
have to sell it.
It's that thing. Councilor Rusk, I think she was She thought that you were gonna negotiate, and then that was that.
Negotiate
And-
and, negotiate
and sell it. And
Correct.
this is
Okay,
just a
we'll
negotiation.
negotiate, we'll come back with a
Yeah.
price tag.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Carter.
The other piece of this, which I don't think's been mentioned, when we, as the real estate committee, when we were researching this to try to figure out how the city ended up with this piece of property to begin with, I believe what was found was when that property was built, it was donated to the city by the developer of the property. Just that as the background of how
Right.
we acquired.
Because if you look at this and you read this, it says 80 Nathan Hill Road and Lot 565E. So together, these two parcels make up this one parcel that is about 0.78 acres, I think it is. It's less than an acre. So it's a small parcel and then an itty bitty parcel that goes with that to make up this less than an acre parcel. So it made sense to the real estate committee to bundle them and just sell them both as one lot, as one piece, to Groton Estates. Councilor Rusk.
When it was donated to the city, were there any restrictions on that donation? Like, are we restricted from selling it?
He said had to be a recreation. Didn't they mention that? Had to be a recreation.
Right, recreation, but that's,
Is that in the original?
I don't believe there was anything in the original.
Okay, in the original agreement, okay.
When
I
that
just want to
was-
make sure that we're following.
Right, I believe it was the building of Groton Estates when they originally built it.
Okay.
So assuming they probably had to have open space at that point too, and they gifted that section. And I believe there was a pump station or some other on the smaller lot. That's why there's two separate lots. The city had some sort of station which has since been removed and cleaned up.
that's true.
Thank you.
It has been remediated. Councilor Beckford?
No,
you had-
just scratch my head.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought you had something before that. I am quick, you were about to buy an object. Anyone else have any questions or comments on this motion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Councilor Depot.
Resolution -17-12-164, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council finally approve an ordinance approving revisions to the existing water rate schedule for the City of Groton Department of Utilities Water Division for all water service located within the Groton and Eastern Division Service Territory to be effective for water service billed on and after January 1st, 2018, on and after July 1st, 2018, and on and after July 1st, 2019. I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? This was not discussed at the committee of the whole, but this is the second reading. This is the final reading. This is the way our ordinances go. This is for the water charges. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries unanimously. Okay, I need a motion to go into executive session pursuant to Connecticut General Statutes 1-2 206 Alpha to discuss personnel for the police department.
I make that motion.
Okay?
Second.
We have a motion, oh, sorry, thank you, to include the council and the police chief and the deputy police chief.
I so move. Or,
Will you?
So, yes, I make that
move?
motion.
We have a motion?
second it
We
again.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're in executive session. There will not be,
There won't be any
there will not
business.
be any motions coming out of this executive session.